We don't have our hammer today.
Yeah, the hammer's in here. Yeah, I'll get it later. There you go.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to call the meeting to order. The Board of Sewer and Water Commissioners, the Town of Walpole, Monday, February 26, 2024, at 6:30 p.m. We're here at the E.J. Delaney Treatment Plant, and we have present a quorum of 3 commissioners, Mylod MWRA, the clerk, and we have Emeritus Patrick Fasanello, and the chairman, John Hassenjager. So we have a quorum, and we're going to start the meeting. We have a posted agenda, and we're going to review minutes. We have minutes from May 8th. I don't understand that one. Why are we looking at minutes from May 8th?
Jeff Fisher noticed they were missing off of the webpage, so I had to go back.
They were? Oh.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was going to say. It'd probably be hard to remember. I remember that Mr. Hassenjager asked the commission, Mr. Wailuka had called me with some urgency saying he was having trouble getting an appointment, and there was urgency in his application and proposal to the Sewer and Water Commission. He wanted to make sure he could get an appointment at the next meeting. So I do remember that part. Anybody see anything to change on the meeting minutes for May 8th? We have a motion for acceptance.
I'll move.
Okay, it's moved. Second?
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 400. We approve the minutes of May 8th. And we move forward to the minutes of February 12th. Any edits or comments, corrections? Okay. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Just one thing.
Oh, okay.
See where it says correspondence? Okay, in Jim Johnson's letter regarding Mylod.
Yep.
Okay. Comments, there was a meeting structured by the, and is that I referring to you? It says I attended, and there was probably 10 people there.
That was Mr. Hassenjager's.
That must mean you, right?
Me, John.
Okay, that's all. It's just was curious.
This
The way
one,
it was structured was,
That meeting,
so on the last line of the same paragraph, the resident association of Toll Brothers, it's Bridges here, so it's a Toll Brothers actually.
I'm sorry, for deep whereabouts?
The resident association, the last line on the first.
it says Bridges instead of
Just before number
Brothers.
225.
The last word there,
Move up.
Bridget, oh, should be.
Bridges project, yeah, Brothers, Toll Brothers project.
there is one more thing. This is nothing to do with the minutes really, but the low-income assistance, Jody did come to the next meeting. However, the next meeting was a budget-type meeting, and we never discussed anything about the low-income assistance, according to the minutes. Just to let you folks know that, okay? So we never did get a report about that low-income assistance, even though we wanted her to come, and she did come. But somehow it got tied up with the budget, and she never took the floor to talk about
Do you want to change any language there?
No, no,
Oh,
no,
okay,
none at
that's
all.
FYI.
It's fine, it's just,
Okay.
just your edification, that's all.
So we have a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained, 400. So we have those 2 minutes done, Terry.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we have the superintendent's report, which is hand-delivered. Scott?
So since the last meeting, there have been no water leaks. It's been good on that front. MTU report, there's been no issues with MTUs. The pilot program meters that have been installed, there's a dozen of them. They have been sending information out reliably, even the pit meter ones. We are getting the reads in. There was some late mail handed out to you regarding the customer portal. So that's something, if you want to take a look at, you can log in with your email, your account, and see your usage and other information.
So how this will be set up for regular residents?
Exactly the same.
Same, so you can...
So the system has no idea that the pilot program exists, that you're a commissioner and somebody else is not. You're going to see what they see.
Okay, so account number and zip code,
Yeah.
you guys can register, okay?
Yep. Jarvis Farm, reference was made at the last meeting about a surveyor meeting with the town and town officials and expanding the scope of from what was originally proposed. And they incorporated that into the new quote, and he's holding his price, so it'll be the same.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
So we want to look at, I don't know if you remember, the amount was $21,550 to complete the survey.
What town are they out of, Mark Guadant?
I'm not sure where he's out of. He's done work for the town in the past, like the central storage tank, redundant line, the surveying for that, as well as water main projects for us.
Yeah, okay.
Did we hit Morningside Drive?
That's next.
Go ahead, say it now. I have a question.
No, it's real simple. Morningside Drive's return to service. The pumps that were installed are actually performing well. The runtime on each of the pumps is half of what it was before, and they're also cycling less.
I mean, the runtime for test.
No, the
No.
actual pumping. So prior to
I mean,
this
is
work
that
being
more
done-
efficient?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So prior to this work being done, on average, on every pump start, it'd be about 5.9 to 6 minutes, fairly consistently. Now we're at 3 minutes or a little bit less.
Oh,
it's been
so
cut
that,
in
I
half.
hope that saves electricity and stuff.
It should.
Unless they're bigger pumps. Are they bigger pumps or something?
No,
Or
they're a different style, but they're the same size.
or what makes them so much more efficient?
They're designed to handle rags. They're more tolerant of that, which is a common problem now. All these disposable wipes that are going into the system that are binding things up and causing nuisance problems, maintenance problems.
No, that's
How do they handle them?
The way it works is it basically has a little hook.
Grinding?
No, it's not designed to chop them up. That'd be grinding. I believe it has like a hook near the center of the impeller that actually allows it to pass on. So rather than getting trapped within the housing in the impeller, it's passed through.
Yeah, once they get in the sewer lines, there's everything floating in there.
Yeah, it ends up at Deer Island. Yeah, hopefully it makes it all the way. So, a question was raised at the last meeting about where the funding was coming from for the people that received assistance on their water bills, and that was, in this case, a grant from the state.
Okay, we still should talk to her, though. Okay, just to propose. And like I say, it was our fault when she did come last time, because we got tied up in the budget and didn't really chat with her.
And that's what I have.
Okay, Scott, thank you.
Oh, Scott, this was in Monticello. Who decided that?
It's part of a system that we're piloting now. It's Beacon software.
I mean, who decided to make this available to the public?
This is
This is
a pilot.
You know, it's an excellent idea.
It's an existing system. There's several out there. This is one of them. And right now, with the meters that we have installed, you don't have yours installed yet?
No.
Some of the commissioners do.
Not yet.
With the meters that we have installed, they're compatible with this program. We're getting reads, and you can actually see if you had your meter installed, you can see your data now.
Will it alert you to leaks?
It'll alert us to leaks. As far as the actual customer portal, I don't have a lot of familiarity with it yet. We're all getting familiar with it.
That'll come
So-
from the town hall.
It'll definitely go to the town hall.
It won't send
The
you an
exact-
email from this system.
The customer notification end of that, I don't have the exact details yet. We're all learning on this.
But we will have them.
Yes, we will.
Okay. All right, we'll move to the comments requested from the planning board. We have two. The first one is 130 West Street.
I was just curious, what's new? We've addressed this one
Right.
a long time ago. Did they change, or is it just?
No,
because
it
they
just keeps,
wanted
the
to-
stuff keeps recycling. They ask them to make an adjustment or something, it comes
Well,
back,
it
it
talks
comes
about
back.
demolition. I didn't know if you had to go to the planning board for demolition, but that's what this is
Thank you.
saying. It's to applicants, is seeking site plan review to allow demolition of the existing buildings. And I mean, I don't know all the details of what the planning board does, but
Yeah, there's several different approvals, planning board issues, and one of them is site
Yeah.
plan.
I didn't see
So-
anything that they were moving the utilities around, but I missed. Did I?
I think,
I'm not sure on this one, but I think it's a much larger project than it was
Oh.
originally proposed for.
Oh,
I think it's, with 95 units, there's supposed to be three
There was
three
three
levels
buildings.
residential with commercial below.
Is this right next to the reclamation building?
Right at the corner of West and Spring.
Right, where they
Near the
all-
train station, Pat, used to be Drycrete, yeah.
Where?
It's near the train station, in sort of, in the corner near Swan Pond.
If you're on West Street, you go past the train station. Once you go under the bridge, you'll be on the left.
Yeah.
it was proposed for like 24 units originally with business units.
Townhouse.
Townhouse with business on the first floor or
Yeah, this
something.
is, it's now a mixed use
Yeah.
with residential above, commercial below.
So that's the way it was, but the unit above had to,
Had
if you
taken
got
it-
a unit below, you were supposed to own the building above, but I didn't think it was more than just one story, it was a two-story building. It was like it had buildings on one side, buildings on another, and an island of buildings in the middle. So I don't know, did they change?
I don't know what happened. I think there was some zoning change that allowed them to have more density, so they went back to a different plan. The big thing we had, and it isn't really our concern, was the parking.
There was not a garage.
Because the
I can tell you,
previous
it did not
parking
have a
was,
garage.
yeah.
There was no retail. Oh, so it's a different, they've changed what they were going
If
to do.
they have retail on the bottom floor, can they go up 4 floors?
I don't know, I can just see retail right there. Well, there is actually retail and retail right on the corner. There was never a garage. There was like an entrance, and then there was an exit over here, but there was a building in the middle, so you could have gone
Yeah.
around in a circle,
Oh, well, how about this?
retail space. They weren't like retail, it was like...
Too bad we don't have that on the screen, huh?
Yeah.
I don't
Are
have,
those pads?
I tried it electronically, I wasn't able to get it for the meeting.
Who's the engineer? They say who the engineer is on there?
Paragon,
Crossman engineering.
No, I like the stuff. Pretty colorful.
So 193 parking lots, but 95 housing unit and a 5-story it's a 5-story building now.
Wow.
So they are changing it.
Yeah, 95 housing.
I wonder what allows that to change.
Unless it's because of the MBTA multi-family thing, it's definitely within a half-mile radius of the
Yeah, but I don't
community.
think our town voted on that yet. We
Someone
didn't
may-
create that zone yet.
That would just change it and make it as a matter of right.
Pradeep, take a look at this.
Well, do they have a utilities plan in there?
This one is, the proposal here is very simple.
Do they say anything, utility plan, C8?
Or you can see it.
That's probably the C8. Gave us this, you know.
A1.
I see C2 over there. That's got it.
This is a whole, this is this. What is this? Is this the one we've been talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I can't remember what they've
And
changed.
here's the site is right here.
Oh, okay.
The train tracks are right up there. This is Main Street. Let's see, 4, 6. Here's your utilities.
They don't make these easy to follow.
But it's in color.
It is in color.
Yes, it is.
That's true. They might want to label the streets, I mean,
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
that's not exactly easy.
Well, here's the retail. So this is going to be West Street, and this is going to be Spring.
Yeah,
Now, who does it say is the engineer on that one?
this one is signed by,
Crossman.
Crossman Engineering from Attleboro, because these other sheets are all say Paragon Engineering.
this is Cabral.
Cabral?
Cabral. He's
No, Crossman.
Stephen M. Cabral is the engineer. The company is Crossman.
Okay, well, what's Paragon then?
Paragon, well, this is not the same, I mean, why are these together, Scott? Why were these hits together? Just to transport them?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It says a 4-inch for domestic service. Gas lines. Abandoned existing water service.
These are catch basins, and these are manholes.
If it
Right.
says CV, yeah.
What's S manhole, sewer manhole?
Sewer manhole.
What's D?
Drain?
D, drain manhole, okay. Oh, I need a computer to figure this out.
So, the water capacity, they have quoted as 14,000 gallon per day.
14,371
Yeah, is that correct number?
for both water and sewer, yeah.
Okay. So for 95 housing unit, they calculate. How about retail? How about retail area?
Pretty,
I would what?
So that's for 95 housing unit, isn't it?
95, yes.
And how about a retail area? Don't they need water and sewer for retail area?
Are you talking about a flow test? Or-
Yeah, let's say that retail area has a restaurant or something, so there'll be water and sewer requirement for that, isn't it?
I'm not sure. You're talking about the rates?
No. So 14,000 gallon per day requirement is from the 95 housing unit, isn't it?
Right.
But there's a retail area also in the.
Yeah, I don't think the retail section of it has been determined what's it's gonna be used for.
Okay.
It's gonna be retail space, but what's going in there, I don't think has been determined yet.
So do we have any calculation for retail area like?
Not that I know
Okay.
of.
okay. Lincoln Estates.
All right, any other
We're not Lincoln yet.
comments about the last one there on 130 West Street? We just say we reviewed it, or?
Well, there's been a change from what there was before. I guess the question would be, is do we have any comments from engineering or
Well, exactly.
superintendent regarding the changes to water and sewer?
Do you think we should call them in, explain the changes?
Well, we could.
Do you want to?
They want them by April 1st. We have all of March. So,
Sure.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll invite,
Want to make a motion?
I second Pat's motion.
No, I didn't make the motion. I don't know what you want. Make the
the motion
motion.
is to have the applicant come in to explain the plan and get comments from the Walpole Engineering Department, so we know what,
What the changes,
yeah.
okay. I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Abstained, 400. So
Okay,
we'll have them come in. The review, it's worth it for that. you know.
Pradeep? This is,
I'm good, yeah. I'll keep it together.
So Lincoln Estates, we've looked at before too. Any questions about that?
Well, John, I see your name on this. Are you still an owner of this property?
I'm one of the owners, and if you're gonna discuss it, I'll leave the room.
Well, I guess, Mike, we've seen this one before. And now, again, I don't know if they changed anything. I know there was a big issue with the people because they were going to lower the road, and it sounded, a lot of talk of that they were interested in the gravel rather than, and just get the road in. But and they were going to come out to Deerfield, which I remember their property is way up here and Deerfield is way at the bottom. And I remember a prior superintendent mentioning something about, it might be worthwhile to find out if they've changed. I don't know, the number of units sounds the same, but, and it looks like maybe they're going to have a road that's going to connect with Deerfield. I don't remember connecting. I know we wanted a loop.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't pay attention to it. The only thing I think I was told was that this was turned down by the planning board, so they had to reduce,
Yeah,
because of the issues you mentioned, they had to change. And so they've come back with something that they both can agree to, whatever that is, whatever the changes are, the reductions are, and they're having another hearing. So I don't know, I don't think we had, well, I couldn't say that, but
well, we were definitely interested in a loop at the time and connecting with Deerfield, but I don't remember the street going down to Deerfield, because Deerfield is, you know, it's a dead end with a turnaround at the end.
would you like the engineers to come in?
Well, it would be nice to
All right.
know that.
Comments from the,
that's what a
this is a new plan or?
GLM.
Well, this road here, it seemed to me that they were doing stuff. There is the Sportsman's Club, and then there was like an access road that there was some question of who owned what, and oh, we've been doing it forever, so it's okay. And, you know, it would be interesting to see what the original one was, just to see, did they in fact change something? Or
Why
what?
don't you turn the page and see what, I think that's the,
Well, I'm just remembering, I mean, it's been forever. I mean, you can just see here, Deerfield, you can see the contours. It's steep. It just, when I saw that, over the weekend, I went over just to refresh my mind.
because you want them to come in and explain the changes.
Well, unless, I don't see anything labeled utilities. Oh, yes, I do.
there any change in the number of?
Yeah, if you want to discuss it, then I'll leave the room and Pradeep, you can take over.
Well, the only thing I was going to say, Commissioner Abbott,
Yes.
is there, you have concerns, right? Just questions, basically?
Existing water line, it looks like they're looping, which was a concern we had, but I don't remember that because of the drastic elevation change from their property down to Deerfield, that I don't recall there being a road there. Oh, why not?
So what's it?
Want to invite them in?
Yeah, let me
Okay,
just
so we'd like to see
get engineering's
The,
comments.
the people who have proposed this, which is Walsh, is it Walsh?
Well, GLM engineering.
We'd like them to appear before us and answer some questions concerning Lincoln Estates. Anything specific?
Yeah, so yeah, I had question about,
Utilities.
like
Huh?
utilities and they have changed the plans from 11 full size and 6 reduced size.
Okay. You're in charge, so you got to,
So you're making motion for them to appear?
we made the motion,
Okay. So-
and, but it's not second yet.
I'll second.
Now
okay,
it is.
Motion is made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Yeah, 301. So we conclude this discussion. Thank you. Up to you, Commissioner.
Okay, all right, thank you. Correspondence, we have Jim Johnson update letter regarding Mylod Street. This is, and there was something, you gave us copies of, Terry, tonight,
Late now.
late mail,
That's not Jim's letter, no.
okay.
So, I'll give some of the feedback, what I have seen. So the numbers which was given to us in this letter says that there's a $7 million cost to developing this, what we call water connection. And I had requested the breakdown of that $7 million, like how it was estimated. That was one question, and the second question was regarding, other than Mylod Street, what are the options we discussed and estimated the cost? So I think the second late mail is reply to that. I received this in my email, so saying that this was presented to us before, but in our meeting, my summary was that we discussed this option and we requested the Mylod Street, but Union Street was never discussed fully, whether we need a Union Street location to be suitable or not. So that's a summary of what I communicated with the town administrator, requesting the breakdown of $7 million estimate and the other location for this pumping station.
All right. Anybody else have any thoughts about,
I did, can show you what the, that page with all our debt items in a format that you can
page 3?
actually read it.
Yeah.
If you wish to see it, I can ask Steve to plug this in. Yeah.
The water main replacement, Scott, is how many feet is it, or the $2 million? Is that just a dollar amount, or is it
That's the
related to a?
That's the amount for the replacement.
Yeah, but how many feet?
Off the top of my head for this particular one, I don't remember. how many feet. How many linear feet? I don't remember the exact number.
You don't know the number of feet? Well, how do we know we need to do $2 million a year then?
That one, no, that one's, I think it was a PDF.
This is based on
No?
the current,
That's roughly a mile of pipe a year.
A mile of pipe a year?
Right,
And how many miles are in the system?
165.
Okay, so we're doing a mile a year.
Right.
Okay.
The plan is to target the smaller, undersized, unlined lines, which is we're currently at. And I think we're probably at, what, 60% replaced on
It's
those?
been like around the same time.
So the idea is, ideally, you want to replace 2% of your system per year, for a lifetime expected life cycle of 50 years. So every 50 years, you turn in your system. We've not been able to do that. Finances don't dictate that we can do that.
No, let's,
Was there
let's,
asbestos pipes, has that all been replaced?
No, none of it's been replaced.
None of it.
that's the future capital.
no.
So each of these $2 million increments is just the traditional plan, annual replacement plan? Yeah, okay.
That's less than 1%.
Yeah, I understand.
I did look at the, not only all the projections or future debt, and came up with, what a order of magnitude that the rates would be to support that, and the percentage, not actual rates, so just nobody, but it, as one can imagine, having a $7 million or even a $5 million one would require a hefty increase to the rates in the order of like 13% in the first year. And if it was not 7 million, it's still big, but, obviously it wouldn't be 13%.
Why is there a $7 million for MWRA connection?
That would include the pump house.
Oh, okay, so
I
it's
would
not,
assume the main, about 1,500 feet of main from the Norwood line to the pump house.
that's not the fee that, because they're saying there's no fee.
This is strictly local costs.
Would that-
Nothing to do with an MWRA connection.
Would that include what Norwood will charge us?
Yes.
Okay, so
So we're roughly, rough estimates right now, 6.625 million. Jim just rounded it up to 7.
And do you see the PFAS, is that trihalomethanes, THM? Okay, do we treat for trihalomethanes?
We create trihalomethanes.
We do? I thought we did final chlorination. We're not doing final chlorination?
It's a disinfection byproduct.
Huh?
It's a disinfection byproduct. When you add chlorine to the water to disinfect, you form those products, trihalomethanes being one of them. So Rick is right, we form them. Not intentionally, but it happens.
Well, okay. I tasted, I sent you an email.
Yep. I thought I'd reply to you. That's normal. We're trying to increase the chlorine in your
I
area.
had a real slug of chlorine the other, what was it, Sunday?
Yeah.
Something. And that's, whenever I get that, I call you folks. All right, and so the PFAS treatment, is that going to be like charcoal again?
Yes, I believe so. That's currently the best available technology.
And it says, how many years here? 30 years. Is that the life of the plant?
No, that's the life of the note.
Oh, okay, I got you.
It's activated carbon that's doing the removal, which you refer to as charcoal. That gets depleted and has to be removed. That's an operational thing.
Do we haven't had estimates of any of these things. No one showed us. Leah told me her estimate of the Norwood project was $4 million.
So the pump station alone is estimated at 2.5 million. There's $800,000 in pipe, $500,000 in engineering and permitting, $1.5 million that we suspect that the town of Norwood is probably going to ask for, and then a contingency. Comes to $6.625 million.
So I did receive that as a late email, like 4 p.m. today, that this breakdown. So I suggest that the board send that to the other commissioners. The response was from the town administrator to me. So if you can send that breakdown to all the commissioners, that would be great. So yeah, so that's. It's a 6.625 million breakdown with same like engineering permitting 500 and pump station construction $2.5 million and pipeline to connect Walpole to Norwood system for 2,000 feet. They estimated 800K and Norwood improvement fees 1.5 million, as you said. So the total is 5.3 million and there's a contingency of 25%. So 5.3 plus 25%, it's coming to 6.625 million.
Could be less, I don't suspect that it's going to be any more.
Yeah, I would think it'd be a lot less.
I don't think it'll be a lot less. It
I
may
mean,
be
4
less.
million, I think, that sounds reasonable to me, but I think it's just unfortunate if, I don't understand this, because we got one set of figures for our water rates from the town administrator proposal, and then a day later, 2 days later, we get a totally different estimate. And I think that's going to,
No, I think the difference, John, if I could, is that those costs that Jim laid out in that memo were not accounted for in any of the rates. I think he strictly took the FY25 proposed O&M budget.
so he added 14 million to it, basically.
He didn't add any.
And 7 for,
He didn't add anything to it. What he's showing you is what you have for the 5-year capital plan.
no, so if we didn't have PFAS and we didn't have the MWRA hookup, it's $14 million were added to the proposal.
Not to, but the PFAS, I think they come at a later, the chart showed the MWRA connection showing first in the, in FY '26. PFAS, I think, were a later,
No, he's talking about the borrowing in
yeah.
next October.
And that would be FY '27, so they're not, those two are not in the same year. I mean, they'll come one after another, but.
No, the MWRA connection is scheduled for this year, October 21st, $7 million.
The
We're not going to
borrowing,
need $7 million October 21st
the
of
borrowing for
2024.
that is FY '26, John. The first payment is due in FY '26 for the MWRA connection, $7 million. And then there were.
Well, it doesn't say that, Bill, that's not what it says on my paper.
I'm looking at the, you know,
Yeah, I see
year by
what
year.
you're saying, yeah. But this is a schedule of the dates of the borrowing,
Yeah. And I.
10, 21, 20, 24. That's when you're borrowing the money. I don't care when you spend it, you borrowed it.
Yeah, but when you're,
You
I was
authorized the
looking at
borrowing.
what the impact of
Yeah,
rates were going to
right.
be, and the impact is not when you borrowed, it's when you have to start paying for it. And that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
And what I then looked is,
Well,
just as a idea of the magnitude, I went out to FY '30.
my armchair perspective would be that all this stuff is occurring over a life cycle, over time. It's not all occurring at once. And over that same life cycle, the new growth of water revenues of Walpole is going to more than cover those capital expenditures, that there's going to be zero impact. And I further, my armchair view would be that these are highly exaggerated, and I think that 7 million is probably at least 30% exaggerated, and I think the other 7 million is 30% exaggerated. So we're being very cautious and conservative in creating numbers, but you're creating a negative argument to wipe out the opportunity for the town of Walpole to have a water connection to the MWRA. And I find that very concerning, because I think that the logic is backwards. The last thing you want to worry about numbers. Go talk to some people in Plainville or some of the other towns that can't drink their water right now, and find out how important it is to have redundant water supply and to have water supply that's free of PFAS. I guess we could hire a consultant to argue our case, but I mean, you know, I'm going to have to ask the town administrator. If they want to argue against this, fine, then I'm going to put it on them. I'm going to spend the rest of my career blaming the people who killed the MWRA hookup, and people will rue the day that they did that, and everybody will know who did it. Whoever did it, whoever's going to make the argument.
Who's trying to kill it, John?
Whoever's overestimating the cost of this to have a negative response by town meeting and the Board of
So
Selectmen.
the statement you made that the increased water revenues from the growth is going to offset that was a pretty bold statement.
Of course.
That I feel is very inaccurate.
Well,
I would disagree too, John. I mean, just looking at, because I collected this information, if I would think maybe 3% each year growing, rather than certainly, and that's going to be tough to make huge leaps there.
well, Bill, let's just take 4 projects that are right on the books right now.
We are.
You've got the Gilmore project for 167 units, you have 300 units on 55 High Street. You have
We have this one.
probably 600 units right off just the top.
This was like
Maybe 800 units.
All
And
very
those are-
conservative, low water users.
And those are populations, you know, a unit has 2 or 3 people in it.
Basically transient
So if
population.
you take, let's say, 700 units times 3, that's 2,100 people. That's, you know, 10%, 9% of the population. So if that's 9% of the water use, there's plenty of money to cover the capital expenditures.
All right.
Director Mattson?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible, for instance, to, on the MWRA connection line, $7 million, to give us the way it was arrived at, the 7 million?
Yes, I think Commissioner Mishra just did that. I think he just gave you the breakdown.
And I didn't get that. Okay, in other words, you know, we don't know what they're talking about.
So
I'd like to see the hard lines.
Again, they're conservative estimates, Patrick. I would suspect that it's going to be lower, but not substantially lower.
So I want to raise my concern on the location itself now, on the Mylod soccer field. I think our initial discussion was to keep the pump station near the Norwood border, and what have been proposed now
What are the
is,
Norwood improvement fees?
the proposed one is all the way away from that, like 2,000 feet away from that other side of the field. And that is adding $800,000 for 2,000 feet of pipelines. I don't think it's worth trying to find a suitable place end of a big field, 2,000 feet away from Norwood, just for a pump station.
I believe, if I could, Pradeep, I believe that the parcel that we wanted to put it on is deed restricted.
Which is
So
fine.
it's not allowed.
We know now, isn't it? When we suggested initially that it
Right.
should be on that part of the,
Ideally,
Yeah.
of the 5 sites that were looked at, Mylod Street is the best site.
and-
Only because of land ownership issues and permitting issues.
but Union Street was also recommended by Weston and Sampson, where they
Right.
say that Union Street has a land towards the west side of the town. And Union Street is near Route 1, where
Have you seen this?
I think we have most of the big bulk
No, they didn't
customers
send it to
also.
me.
I know, so that you,
So my concern
It's a
is
problem.
not exactly why
Only
Mylod
certain
or why
people
Union
get it.
Street.
Yeah.
My concern is that when we said, okay, Mylod Street, it was a simple looking project next to the town line of Norwood. Now it's going all the way 2,000 feet away to other side of the Mylod fields. And it's complicating the whole, design and cost. It's increasing the cost by 800K also. So that's my concern. So I'm totally opposed to any pump station which goes all the way to other side of the field. So that's my personal opinion.
So if the board in general is opposed to the Mylod Street, I would suggest you take a vote tonight and not approach the select board tomorrow night.
So that's I want to hear from other members, but that's my concern to begin with, because I think we had voted for the site which was on the soccer field area.
Right.
Okay, so if we really need to be putting this away from the soccer field on the other side of the field, then I think we should vote today too.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Pradeep, exactly what the distance is, but I don't think it's the full 2,000 feet. From the initial site
Yeah, I
to the other
calculated
side.
on the Google Maps, it was 1,500 from one end of the Mylod to the other end, 1,500 feet. So anywhere if you trying to put in that parking, that triangle thing, it's 2,000 is correct estimate. It won't be a straight line, isn't it?
When I looked at that, when you said 1,500, I went from Ryan Drive or Ryan Street, that's the first street in Norwood, over to the Triangle area, and I thought I had like 1,600 feet, not,
Yeah, I'm just estimating.
Okay.
I just pulled the,
and so it wouldn't be, if you went to where the existing parking lot for the soccer fields, maybe it would cut it in half,
yeah, that's what I was,
Yeah.
we initially voted, isn't it?
Yeah.
That behind that parking lot, but the proposal now is all the way other side of the Mylod field,
Yeah.
and which does not make sense, at least from the cost point of view or from running the pipes or anything there.
Did we have land that the town owned on Union Street?
It does say there is land.
I looked at it with the engineering department and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I mean, that,
So there's a commercial municipal ownership and permitting are there. There's a 10-inch pipeline.
And Pradeep, here you go. That's,
So the page 2 say that summary of 5 sites and description of each site can be found. As a result of limited space outside the right of way of each location, we have identified 2 sites, Mylod Street and Union Street, as a potential location for the MWRA interconnection. Both these locations have town-owned parcel close to the Walpole-Norwood border. Based on this analysis, Mylod Street appears to be most viable location based on existing distribution infrastructure, parcel ownership, and estimated permits required. So they recommended Mylod Street too, but that recommendation was for the first, we can call it parking lot of the soccer field. But after all these other details what given to us, at least I'm opposed to it based on the cost and the amount of work needed to keep the small pump station all the way away from the border.
I just don't remember at the Union Street area that there was a parcel. I just, maybe,
We have a hook up there. So it must be town land somewhere.
well, you can have a water
We have a pipe
connection,
hook
but-
to the Norwood's
It's in the
water
right,
line.
it's in the right of way, it's in the Mass DOT
Yeah,
layout.
but that doesn't mean that you got room for a 30 by 30-foot building and 10 feet of fencing or something when Leah was talking?
Well, Bill, this,
If it's
the
there,
department's been talking, we've been talking about this for 4 years.
And
We've been
that's
talking
why-
about Union Street. Are you telling me that everybody at Town Hall doesn't know that we didn't have a piece of land on Union Street we've been talking about for 4 years? Now all of a sudden we don't have a piece of land there?
I
What kind
didn't
of
think
bull
we
is
had
that?
it. I didn't think we had a piece
Well,
of
who
land.
comes up with this stuff? who do we talk to that has the real information? Because it's a floating ball. The story changes every week. I mean, this is crazy. I still don't believe the thing on Mylod. I think that's a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo. Both properties are zoned municipal passive recreation. And the lawyer says, well, the triangle piece is zoned passive recreation, so it's okay. But the other one isn't okay, even though it's zoned the same thing.
But did you see the deed restrictions, John?
Yeah, there was a deed restriction
Did you
issue.
read the deed restriction?
The deed restrictions are nebulous, and the people are dead.
So that makes them go away?
Yeah. Well, it's how you define the deed restrictions.
Well, that's the case.
I would say that water use is part of,
John, that's the case you argue before the select board tomorrow night, then.
So the one more thing, the Union Street, I think it looks like a water body's running there. And if town wants to put a ground pump station, will they get permit from DEP? Because this is a DEP wetland.
Underground pump station?
No, a
In the
pumping.
wetlands?
Yeah,
That's-
DEP wetland.
That was one of the major concerns at Route 1 in Union Street, was the DEP wetlands and the trap hole brook.
Yeah.
And
God
there's-
bless you.
I still favor the Mylod Street in the triangle parcel there.
yeah, well, we probably have to get some other quotes on what a contractor would charge to put a water line from there 1,500 feet or 1,600 feet, see what they come up with the figure, and have some other people quote us what the pump equipment costs to get the figure down. I mean, if that's the concern. I mean, you're building an argument of cards here that makes it look uneconomic for I don't know what reason.
So I think on my, actually, I'm going to make a motion that we look for Union Street cost and Union Street parcel to set up the MWRA pump station in place of Mylod Street because of the deed restrictions. I make that motion. We don't need to rush because I don't think we are going to get any estimate, proper estimate next week or a month. We can still wait for them to come with the both cost of both Mylod and Union
So we can
Street.
do that in parallel. I'll second your motion, even though I'm not giving up on Mylod, but, you know,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
let's get the Union Street cost
just
and
have
then.
have
yeah.
the consideration in parallel of what's going on with Mylod.
Yep.
You've made a motion and it's been
Yeah,
seconded?
but say, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I oppose.
Okay, 3-1-0. So, I don't know what to say. I don't think the crystal ball, I mean, the town administrator is obviously like going against this, I guess. So I don't know, I don't understand. But we'll see how he makes his argument tomorrow night. I mean,
No, I'm just
if he wants to argue against it, fine, then we'll know who's arguing against it. I don't get it.
He's,
And
I can't imagine he's going to argue against it, John.
No, I'm saying.
well, I hope not.
If you
So
want.
why would you say that? Why would you even say that?
Because somebody came up with $14 million and threw it into the pot at the last minute.
Nobody threw
To make it, and then said the water rates are going to go from 2% to 14%. I would consider that to be,
But John, those costs have been there for several years. The 5-year capital plan, that's all he did was present you with that.
no, he made a statement about increase of water rates, which is a rate setting.
No.
Hearing.
No one has, except for me, and I just told you I wasn't picking any particular number, just to indicate that,
Well, this memo isn't from you. This
No,
is from
so
Jim
I hear-
Johnson, and he says the water rates will have to go up 10%,
all right.
17.5%.
Okay, I take that back. But anything that I've said was not 10%, but it is going to be a large increase. Will not be the 1% and 2%.
But it could be spread.
When you say spread how, Pat?
Well, you know,
mean,
this
in the
runs,
past, we've
this thing
moved-
runs till 2028, right?
It's going to go for 30 years, Pat. It's not going to disappear.
Okay.
There's going to be,
No, I'm
based on that,
saying-
it's like 400 and something thousand,
It starts then.
and that will stay level,
Right.
that particular project, for 30 years. It's
And
not going to
then-
go away.
We might have to spread the loans out longer.
Oh, yeah,
So
no.
that we can keep the rates down. This is the favorite tactic of the MWRA. I've learned a little bit from them. And one of the things is move it along, because the way they look at it is that the benefits that are going to happen are going to be happening way down the line. So the people who are going to get the benefits should be actually paying for it. So they've moved the structure, which would mean that we could not wind up paying 14%, but we could work that, and I don't know how, but I know you could do it because they do it, and have a reasonable increase. So we could try that.
Well, they have the benefit of having far more customers than we do, too. So that helps.
Yeah, because as a chairman said, you know, we can't go raising the water rates like that. People can't pay that. So there's got to be the way to help it along. And like I say, one of the ways is to put the budgeting down the road a piece. So, and that's only one thing I know about. There's other ways you can do that.
Yeah, and my opinion is like if you are planning to spend $7 million, you need to have options to reduce that now, because out of all this capital budget, there are only two $7 million projects. One is MWRA connection and second is PFAS treatment system. And rest are small projects which can be taken up every year.
I would suggest in terms of options that you look at the report that the Abrahams Group did for you back in 2018. He gave you several options to finance the water system. Unfortunately, the board chose not to utilize any of them. So that would be a good starting point, I think, in terms of options. And we can get that for your next agenda. So you can review it again.
In general, I think my concern is the amount of that so-called MBTA, housing requirement coming up. That's going to increase our water demand, and you don't want to pump more groundwater for that. Even if you can pump, but you don't want to. So that's the only concern. If it is state is telling us to open up our town for MBTA housing, we have to be ready for those water demands, whatever it is.
Anything that's currently on the books in terms of demand or construction, there's not going to be an issue meeting that demand.
No, which is fine. I'm like, as of now, we are doing all 100% groundwater, which itself is not good.
I keep hearing about economic development along the Route 1 corridor, but I've never seen anybody come in with any plans.
Yeah, so
John, you keep making mention of it. I've not seen anything in the last 15 years other than a storage unit.
there's a
Come on the Route 1 corridor.
There's one Marriott. There's
Most
another-
of them are not in Walpole.
Yeah, no, the Marriott Fairfield is in,
They're either in Sharon or Foxborough.
and the second one is, I think, Appleby Place.
There's one thing that did come, recently came to light, and that's another hotel
Yeah,
on the Foxborough line.
Yeah, we can't control the geography of Route 1. Most of Route 1
No, but what we
is in
can
other
control is
towns,
not giving
Sharon,
water to people in Sharon or
in another
Foxborough.
town. So we don't provide utilities to them, so they can't develop it. you know.
Right, so why would we care about the town of Sharon? Trust me, Sharon doesn't care about
I
you.
didn't say that. Did I say we're going to care about the town of Sharon? I explained to you why maybe Route 1 development has occurred the way you would like it to occur.
I'm perfectly content with
We're
Route
not-
1 the way it is right now.
Okay, well, that's fine. And we just see, I mean, you could, we just have a thing right here on the table, the last thing we just looked at, it went from 22 units to 95, right? That's not a decrease in
14,000
housing.
gallons a day. It's negligible. We couldn't even detect pumping 14,000 gallons a day. It's like 10, it's not even 10 minutes of pumping. It's not a big water user, John.
Well,
These apartments are not large water users. They're very small.
well,
There are more car
we
washes.
can make all the arguments, meanwhile, the clock is ticking on the MWRA. If people think that that's a bad idea, the world of PFAS is going to go away, and that we're not going to need a
John, if people...
redundant water source in the
Let's just
future, I
set the
think they're
record straight on
foolish.
the bad idea thing. If people thought the MWRA was a bad idea, it would have been dead a long time ago,
Yeah.
okay? So there are some people that do think it's a bad idea, but none of them are in the administration. Okay, so we do your little innuendos and this and that, and blaming everybody else. There's nobody in the administration that's against the MWRA connection, that I know of.
Well, okay, but we're the water commissioners, right? And we're on a faster schedule than they are. And we believe that the clock is running out, and I think a lot of other people don't.
I don't think the clock's running out, John. You're so farther ahead, so much farther ahead. Your connection, or the town's connection on Mylod Street, or Route 1 and Union Street for that matter, is so much more simple than these other communities are looking at. They need to run miles and miles of pipe through other communities. They can tell you all they want. They're gonna be looking at 50 million gallons, 60 million gallons, John. They don't have, first of all, they don't have the funding to do it. And second of all, it's a permitting nightmare. It's not gonna happen. You're that much further ahead. Your connection is very simple. It doesn't get to be any more simple.
I understand that's from our perspective. That's
I'm
not
telling you, that's a fact.
This man's on the
It's
board up
simple.
there, they have a different perspective. They
I've
didn't
been-
even put us on their last
John,
report as even being.
I've been to dozens of meetings with Patrick, and I see how they operate, and I know how they operate. So, you're not telling me or anybody else anything new. The connection that we're proposing, the town of Walpole is proposing to the MWRA is simple, very basic. There's nothing to it in comparison to these other communities. And if you can get the connection for 5 million or 6 million all in, I think you're doing good. And Jim's memo was not meant to be a scare tactic or to chase anybody away. He's stating facts. Those are facts. Everything that he listed in that memo is a fact in terms of costs.
It's a projection.
John, it's your 5-year capital plan.
Yeah, we know
Have you
that.
bothered to look
We know
at
that.
it?
We know that it's a 5-year cap plan, and we know that there's a base of usership that it's, in volume, it's based on a water use. And I think the revenue base is going to increase. It isn't as severe as projected here. I don't want to have selectmen or other people have been following this react negatively because of something like that, because I don't think it's in context of what we're trying to do here.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is the best interest of the public, long-term. When many of us are retired, you, Jim, whoever, Scott, myself, whoever, the people of the future are going to appreciate having this done before the gates are closed. That's all.
Some will, some won't. When you get that bill from the MWRA, John, it's not cheap.
Well, we could go round and round about that, but I've seen that the government wants to make water expensive. They don't want to make it economical. And they're going to do
No, they're gonna
everything-
make it safe, and
everything
unfortunately, to make it
regulatorily
safe, it's
to make it
expensive.
more expensive. So everything we can do is to protect ourselves from that.
I'll say another point, like the water pilots which is going on, that's funded by government, isn't it? From the federal grants or something.
No.
It was
Funded by a grant?
ARPA funding or something?
We purchased meters under ARPA.
Yeah.
Yes, 350,000.
So government is going to pay for the water.
For the
system
the
upgrades.
meters.
That's one example. I think there's more money coming from the federal.
That would be wonderful if
Yeah,
there was.
so I don't think we should be making all the, what do you call, negative projections, but think positive also and see where we can get funding for. So I think we are discussing the next topic. Chairman, you want to move on to the next topic, which is update on MWRA supplementary supply connection.
Okay, let me ask, the meeting tomorrow, how many commissioners are going to be there?
I'm planning to attend.
I'm planning to.
With the selectmen?
Yeah.
I got a question on that. Okay, now, the town administrator said that he might have to post it.
It is posted.
Yeah, well, if you post a meeting, then this is a joint meeting with the selectmen. It's not like we're the audience, because we go to town meeting and nobody posts us, we're all there, and nobody posts us for that, okay? This is, do the selectmen understand that this meeting is a joint meeting?
I believe they do.
Pat, can I
Okay,
just
good.
correct it? When we're at a town meeting, and if we want to meet like at 6:30 before the 7th, they post that meeting as well as posting the town meeting, and I think as town
And if we were gonna meet before the selectmen's meeting,
Right.
then they would have to post it. I agree with you. But if we're in there and we're the audience,
Maybe, I guess,
that's okay. If they understand it's a joint meeting, that's good. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
But I'm saying there's differences here in how you perceive these meetings. Last time I got up there with the selectmen, they gave me a hard time when I tried to speak out about a problem we had. And I didn't appreciate that, because it was my meeting too. Okay, I'm just telling you that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay?
So there'll
You should
be
be aware of that.
3, you're going to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't be there, by the way.
After all that, you're not even going to come?
If he's there,
I
then
would just like to make a note here. We got a new Gantt chart dated February 13th. It has moved out. Some of the, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. FY, it'd be July of '24. You know, I think it has moved out. The final completion. So it looks like July of 2024. We're like 3 months away, 4 months away. Now it looks like maybe April of 2025.
it's coming for fall town meeting for appropriation. Building and construction also.
Once the permitting portion is completed, the project should be very fast-tracked. In terms of constructability, construction design, and construction and bid, once again, in my opinion, it's a very small project.
Well, you know, we could have town forces do some of this.
We can't do bricks.
On a normal connection, option policy number 10, you have to get the legislature to vote, the governor to sign, which I assume if the legislature votes in favor. But those things can take some time, and and then it goes to the MWRA Board of Directors to say yes or no.
I think
Would
town
you
meeting's your
start-
first vote.
Well, that's what I would want to, I mean, if town meeting
If
says
you
no,
don't have,
then
if you don't have town meeting vote, you have nothing.
Right. But would you start constructing until you were, at least got a real good idea that the MWA Board of Directors?
No,
I wouldn't
to me, that's part of the permitting process.
Okay. And if the legislature has to do it, and this may be like one of those things you want to, your local rep puts up, we want the official flower of Walpole. They just slam it right through.
No,
I don't know if that is the case.
I can't imagine that we would have any insurmountable hurdles to overcome
Yeah. All right.
legislatively or
Yeah.
MWRA.
I mean, I just would be concerned about us starting construction until we had a real good sense that we were gonna get the okay. Otherwise, we got pipes in a pump station.
No, that wouldn't make any sense.
No, it would not.
Okay. Anybody else on the Gantt chart?
So 3 of us will be there? Unless
Apparently.
Jeff is coming, I don't know if Jeff
Yes.
indicated he was
He
coming.
replied on the emails that he'll be.
Oh, okay, so it'll be 4 of us.
Okay. Next,
Spring town meeting, zoning board articles.
But this is just for our information, the zoning board of appeals.
This-
Right.
You're talking about the inclusion.
I don't see, I see it. How's that, you know what I'm saying? This is a 1ZB, IZB article.
That's the
And-
inclusionary housing.
Inclusionary zoning bylaw.
Right.
It's all about inclusionary housing. How does that affect us?
I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why is this here?
No, I think it will increase the number of housing in the town, isn't it?
Just for our information?
Yeah, just for
Oh, okay.
well, it's a capacity issue.
six
Yeah,
or
well-
more dwelling units, 6 or more residential use units.
If I recall that, it wasn't necessarily resulting in more. It just means that if you got like 10 houses, you've got to make, one of them or whatever that sort of looks like the rest, but instead of having, granite countertops, it'll be foam mica, so that it would be more affordable, but it's supposed to sort of look, fit in with the rest of the neighborhood. But I didn't think you could get, that it was going to result in additional.
Oh, yeah, Bill,
is?
it's an override of zoning, which means if a district, let's say you did what they asked us, a half a mile radius around,
No, that's the MBTA. This is
Yeah.
something different. I agree
oh,
with the
the
MBTA.
40,
Yeah.
40A, okay.
Well, it's not a 40B,
It's a
the idea was
40A, yeah.
This had come before, and it was, if I recall, developers would say, no, I don't like it, I don't want to,
It's a 40B, isn't it? The
no, well,
purpose
it's,
one. The purpose is it's for 40B.
I mean, right now with 40B,
Yeah.
we don't worry about any of this stuff. I mean, this was the issue of if you had 6 units, one of them had to be, quote, affordable. But it describes that you've got to build it roughly the same. It's got to sort of look like the rest of the housing, it has to fit in. You're not going to have, 5 huge mansions and then a small little ranch. No, they have to look similar.
Where does it say?
First, a bunch of definitions.
It's all about income and affordability. Any developer subject to this bylaw, every 6 housing units, 7th unit shall be affordable housing unit.
Affordable units shall be dispersed throughout the building in a development and such, and shall be comparable to the market size units in terms of location, quality, character, room size, bedroom distribution, external appearance.
Yeah, means like if you're making 6 market size apartments or condos or house.
Right.
All should look same. The affordable housing also should look same. It should not be like, run down part of the.
Right. So it would be, in your neighborhood, they would, a small,
about
a
neighborhood.
small
It's not-
ranch
no,
wouldn't,
no, it's not
wouldn't,
about
wouldn't
neighborhood.
fit it.
No, no, it's not about neighborhood.
If-
If a developer is making 6 houses, the 7th house will be affordable housing. It should look same as all other 6 houses which
Right.
he's building.
That's what I'm saying, it has to look like, but it's the, you don't have to make them exactly the same in terms of amenities, I guess.
Yeah, which is fine, yeah. It doesn't mention that.
Okay? So you can go to the hearing if you want, March 21st. Old business. MWRA water connection. This is yours, I guess. Any comment on that? No. How about Jarvis Farm?
Yeah, is the survey done?
No,
It's not done?
no, we have a quote to perform the survey.
Okay.
The
Only one
survey's
quote?
not even started.
Huh?
Yes, we have one quote, and it was from the surveyor that was going to do the survey that was originally proposed, but that scope has been expanded to include more detail than included before, in order to identify the conservation restriction areas.
And how much, do you know what he's gonna charge?
$21,550.
Didn't you say that was no change?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
so they're gonna do what we want rather than what we
Okay.
didn't want.
What- That leads into, I mean, theoretically, what we're doing the survey for is to find out about the parking lot and what should be done about it. Would you agree, Patrick?
Yeah. The whole point is to protect the water.
One of the reasons, and I guess we probably have to try to talk to the head of the recreation privately. He doesn't want to talk generally here, I guess. Part of the issue is what is Jarvis Farm going to be used for 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Is there going to be any increase or decrease of use of recreation there? And what kind of recreation? And what kind of potential demand for a parking lot is there really going to be there before we go build a damn parking lot? And should we build a small one or a big one? And should we have all kinds of controls expecting a high utilization, or is it going to be a low utilization? And I think Pradeep saw into that previously, and he realized if they're going to go more to the big, they have beautiful recreation fields. The one down on Route 1A is just gorgeous, all the things they have down there. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't want to go to Jarvis Farm unless they were really pressed for a lack of space. But Pradeep raised the issue that, you know, if they aren't going to use all of it, there could be some use for solar.
Yeah, if
And
they
either,
place the
not
parking
just a
lot.
canopy, but in open space. There's space, you know, there's such things, if it's going to be light use, you could put the parking lot back under the power lines and use that more open space that's already cleared. Some of it could be solar. I mean, there could be a lot of things if we knew really what was going to be happening up there. But my concern is we're in the dark about what's happening.
Why don't we get him here?
Well, no, I guess we're going to have to talk to him. If he doesn't want to come here,
All
that's
those
fine.
questions are good.
How about if I structure a meeting with the town administrator, whoever the administrative authority is, to have a meet with like you and Pardeep or something and have him answer?
I want to be,
Questions.
I don't like those kind of meetings. I want it out in the open, and I want it in front of the commission. That's the kind of meetings I like.
'Cause I don't
So I'm
wanna-
not meeting with, you know, without the whole commission.
Because
And so I think that if you have, and they're valid, all valid questions, we need to invite the director to come up here and answer the questions that you have.
well, they're not necessarily my questions, they're really your questions and Pradeep's questions.
No,
You're
I-
about the parking lot, him about the solar.
Yeah, and like I said, they're all very valid questions.
So, I mean, there's another person, I guess his name is Granter, I don't know if it's the same person or not, who was the chairman of the recreation. Could try to get him if he knows about the future. Or we could ask the town administrator if he could come and talk about the recreation. Or we could try to set up a meeting with Mr. Croak and two of you, two members, not myself, but maybe you and Pradeep, to talk about it and find out because once we get the answers, it'd be a lot easier knowing what we want to do with this survey and this work we're doing on the parking lot, which we don't know really what it's going to serve, and also if there is any potential for solar. Okay? That's not, I understand to the staff that isn't important. It's kind of like we're in a sidebar or something, but I think it's a legitimate concern we have. And I think to be economical, we don't want to waste money. Build a parking lot that isn't going to be used. Right? So I think,
Like I said, your questions are very valid. But we need somebody to come and answer them.
and the other thing is, I don't like the fact we passed up on the chance to take care of the cabins, which I would like to get that disposed of, but that's part of the whole discussion again too. Why are you getting rid of 12 cabins instead of 14, or why are you keeping, and then that ties into what the uses are and the whole thing. So I don't know.
Why don't we order the town administrator to come and bring somebody to answer those questions?
Okay, why don't you make that motion then? Because I said, I think there's three things you could talk to, maybe invite this Mr. Grant in, or we can have a private meeting, or you can try to get somebody else like the town administrator or whoever he wants to send to come and talk about the recreation questions. And do whichever one you want.
So beyond the use of the site for the next 5-10 years, proposed usage, is there anything else that you want to ask about? I know the site.
It depends on the answer, Scott. You understand what interactive discussion is. Depending on how you answer, there's another question possibly. It's not just a one question discussion. I mean, it depends on what you say. I mean, like, for example, I don't know. But there's a couple basketball courts, but there's no basketball stands. So obviously, they're not using it for basketball. I don't know if they're using it for it, they just happen to be there. I mean, there's all kinds of things. If you aim the baseball field one way, you probably have 2 acres of open space over you could put something on. If you aim it the other way, with the way the baseballs go, you couldn't really have any open space. There's so many little things. But basically, the thing is, how much is it going to be used? Do they really have it in their plans, or do they have enough now that they really would like the better fields and, they have a nice baseball complex up?
Yeah, so that's my question. Like, if the town has taken that land for recreation purpose, how much town is spending there? How much town people are spending their time, and how much town budget is spent for those recreational purposes? Are people using those fields? Is there any plan to upgrade some fields? What is actually happening in those fields? If town is, let's say, creating more fields, other places, spending more money other places for the sports facilities, why not in Jarvis? Why not? Why? What are their plans for Jarvis Field? Which sports team is going to use Jarvis Field for next 5 years? Why can't they move? Let's say I'm just throwing the Mylod Street one. But why can't they move the Mylod Street soccer team to Jarvis? Because there's a parking issue in Mylod. Why can't they go to Jarvis? I'm just throwing it there, but that's a question. Which sports team want to use the Jarvis farm? That's plain simple things. So we need to know, like, it's like, I think 3 or 4 different kind of sports facilities there. Who's using it, how much is using it? We don't have any idea. What's the town plan to basically attract more recreational use in that Jarvis farm?
I get a motion, if you want to hear it. Okay. Move that the town administrator or his representative appear before the Board of Sewer and Water Commissioners to answer questions about recreation at Jarvis Farm.
Recreation facilities at Jarvis farm.
Okay? That's,
Recreation facilities.
what?
Recreation facilities.
Facilities, he's adding the word facilities to your motion.
I prefer to go and
Facilities.
just
Okay,
talk to
recreation.
Brendan and find
Well, I
out.
figured recreation is included, but I'll add it on. Okay, that's added on, Jerry. Recreation facilities.
Okay, he made a motion,
I second that.
you seconded. Any other discussion, Bill?
I think you can get the same information by just going and talking to him, and I'll go and ask him about to see where that leads.
How much $1 million they are going to spend on the upgrading the, let's say, baseball field there?
Oh, I don't think they're going to update the
That's how I'm
baseball
saying.
field because it's too close to our, Washington 6th.
How about the basketball field? How about, any
I
other
would
field which are there?
Well, I mean, we can try and get I'll say, I'd just soon go and ask them.
You want it on record, Bill, because you might wind up spending $1 million on a parking lot over there.
No, I
And you'd like
understand
to
what
know
you're
that there was- And then somebody's going to say, well, we never intended to really do much more after 2025 up there anyways. And well, why the hell did you spend the money on the parking lot?
I agree.
So
that
you can't
that's-
just go have a casual sidebar discussion with somebody over a cup of coffee. I mean, you can, but it's
I don't
not,
drink coffee.
you'd like to get the answer. So it's reasonable. I don't think they're being unreasonable. Okay, so moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed.
310. Okay, is there anything else? Meter to cash?
Meter to cash, just one request. I think we are reaching end of, or the next meeting will be in March. So I want to know whether all the December bills have been issued. So if you can get by email also, that,
Are you concerned about the revenue?
no,
Because
I'm concerned about the outgoing bills, how many bills have.
Oh,
which
okay, you
billing
want the
cycle
number
have
of
been.
bills, okay.
Every quarter,
Because
I try to check, yeah.
The revenue is when they actually pay, whether, but
is
if you're
fine.
interested in the number of bills that went out, that's a different question.
Which
That's why I
bill-
was just asking.
Which billing cycle is running, how much lag days? That's
Yeah,
important information.
I have all that.
Is this
I know.
yours or mine?
I want the board to,
Yeah, it's one of the things I do is I look to see, and it's, right now, it's usually between the high 20s and the low 30s. And it's been real consistent. They've done a real good job of getting it, so it's,
yeah, once in a quarter we should check each
Yeah. All right.
cycle, yeah. All the board members should check. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep. Anything else? Any other business? Okay, well,
Move to adjourn.
can go home.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 400.
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned.